Joe Rogan gets threatened by the Liver King, who then gets arrested. Now, if you guys don't know who Liver King is, this guy, interesting guy, had his own line of products. I think he still might have his own line of supplements and selling all kinds of stuff. And basically claimed that the reason he got this shredded and jacked was by eating liver and raw meats.
Yeah, exclusively.
Long story short, he ends up being exposed for his TRT stack. And he basically has this massive fall from grace. It's really sad. And now it looks like he is full on a mental health crisis where he's uploading all these videos and he is threatening Rogan and ends up in Austin.
Yeah.
Looking for, and I think his family even went along with him.
Oh, no.
King, man to man, I'll pick a fight with you. Yeah. I have no training things you did. So good luck to.
So I wonder if in his mind, this is a ploy to get on the podcast, because he's always wanted to be on the podcast and never got on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he did the rounds of all of his comedian podcast friends, you know? Or is he drunk? Is he under some sort of substance? Or is this just like a complete mental deterioration of someone right before our eyes? You know? Because he had a fairly big glow up, made a lot of money really fast, and then lost a lot of his credibility, and like no one took him seriously after it was found out that he was taking steroids, which he did own up to.
And he said he won't do it anymore. And then like a few weeks later, he was like, I've changed my mind. I don't care what people think, and I'm just going to take
the steroids. Yeah, go ahead.
Man told me, I'll pick you a fight. Whatever you tell me to win it, I'll win it. I'll win what I did this morning.
Why is he telling us about his weight?
I don't know. I think he was talking about weights. I think there was a different video. They said this is the one with the threats, but it sounded like there's one where he's being more vague. Anyways.
No, I've sat and watched the videos, and I don't want to go over them because it's honestly really sad.
Yeah.
But there's some threats.
So then he gets arrested. So that's him getting arrested. That's his mugshot. At least he's getting arrested in the drip. Man, he's aged.
This is what comes to mind. Remember that Jim Carrey quote?
No.
You don't remember what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
Do you know who Jim Carrey is?
Yeah, I know who Jim Carrey.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know.
This man thought I was born the same year as my son.
Hey, bro, Jim Carrey was the guy. And he had a quote. He says, "I want everybody to be rich and famous for a day to understand is not everything is cracked up to be."
Come on.
If that quote was a meme, like if that quote was a person, it's this.
He would be Liver King.
It would be a Liver King. Oh. Everybody thinks that being famous and being rich is this thing. And that's like millennials. I think they did studies. They found out millennials, like their top thing is they want to be rich and famous, or famous and rich. I think it's even more so with Gen Z. The number one job thing that they want to do is to be an influencer. And there are downsides to that, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
One of which is the susceptibility to like a mental health breakdown like this. The amount of being inundated with so many different voices and so much different criticism and so many different people are dragging on you. Man, by the grace of God, my growth has been relatively slow.
Yeah.
Right? We're about to release the 10-year anniversary vlog. My Day as a Full-Time Rapper came out 2015. Like my first upload was June 2015 on YouTube. My outside music videos. And it's been a relatively slow. So I've always seen a little bit of hate. But when you go from relatively unknown business guy to overnight within a year famous guy, and then it all comes crashing down because you were dishonest, it has to be hard, man.
Oh yeah.
It has to be hard. So let's hear his apology, hopefully this is an apology.
I don't think it's an apology.
It's not an apology. Okay. No. So he got arrested. We saw the footage.
So this says, shows off his ankle monitor after being arrested for allegedly threatening Joe Rogan. He's not allowed within 200 feet of Rogan, and says he is now headed to the Texas Capitol.
So we're going to go there for that reason. But 200 yards, restrain myself I must do. If anybody, here's how we do it. If anybody's last name is Rogan and you're in the capital of Austin, Texas, like Capitol Hill stuff place, like where they make laws like Rogan versus Liver King, where bullies that are big, that don't just do.
He's still out of it.
He's out of it.
He doesn't get it.
He's cooked.
He doesn't get it. Like, you can't do this. You cannot make threats against people.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get it. And so this is
It's a 5-minute mental breakdown.
yeah, this is someone that's brain. Now, whether this is for publicity or not, it doesn't matter. Right? That whole like all press is good press, like, not really.
Yeah. Check this part out. This is where you're like, oh, he lost it.
Capital, in the actual capital, like where it looks really cool. Where is it?
So he's like, don't come to the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I might have to fight you.
Where you at, Capital? That's where we're going. Somewhere. I don't know if I can see it. Yeah. That's how all roads actually lead when you're barbarian. So we're going to go there, and I invite everyone else to come. The news should be there. But if your first name starts with a J and the last name is Rogan, I actually do invite your family, and I take it back. I invite you to come to meet.
All right.
He's just freestyling.
Yeah, he's
freestyling. He's yelling out his windows.
This is a cautionary tale in the sense that, like, so many people think they want this. So many people want, like, your wildest dreams coming true comes with a price tag. And sometimes it's like your mental stability. I think of King Nebuchadnezzar, who like loses his mind in the book of Daniel, and we take some of this stuff for granted. You take some of this stuff for granted, and we don't know how bad things can get when you are just a normal dude that has this sort of glow up. It's a crazy thing. There's a proverb we're going to go to here in a second, but I'm just keeping an eye on the chat. Can't take steroids. Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of steroids, a combination of all sorts of things, man. It's a combination of all sorts of things. But yeah, I've referenced this proverb a lot. This is Proverbs 20:21. Inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. And another version of it, I think, says an inheritance attained too early in life will not be blessed in the end.
Yep.
Which is actually interesting because this is kind of foreshadowing the prodigal story. Like in the prodigal story, the prodigal son, that Jesus is talking about, ends up asking for his dad's inheritance before his inheritance before his dad dies, and then like loses it all, squanders it all, and thankfully because of the grace of God, he's welcomed back in. But yeah, an inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed in the end. So if we go to our like trusty Logo software, which by the way, if you guys didn't know, big fan of Logos. They're a big fan of the channel and support us big time. One of my favorite things is the ability to click on a word. So like that word inheritance, and we can hit study and go to the Greek and check it out.
Nahala.
Inalienable hereditary property. So this is specifically about property, right? Property, territories, parts, lands, inheritance of their territory. So let's just use like hypothetically, let's use this as an inheritance of something, right?
Yep.
Property. If you get gifts that your character is not able to handle, you will fumble it. This is prevalent in and outside of the church.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we go down here to maintain possession, to make possession, to give it as inheritance assigned, and then we see some other uses of it. And by the way, Logos giving all you guys a free 60-day trial. This software used to be, I mean, I know people that paid thousands of dollars for this. Pastors have paid hundreds of dollars. It's now $12 a month, and they're giving you 60 free days. So I'm a big fan of Logos Bible software. I use it every day, basically, especially on the phone version. And so you start seeing this idea of inheritance, and that when you get something before you're able to handle it, it is not something that's blessed in the end. I want to go check out this word end because this is an interesting one. Okay, so here's the word for end, the destination, right? The extremity. And there's multiple words for it, but this is basically saying the end of a thing, right? The end of the destination. And so it's like, you may think you want something, but man, it's not what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you think, and it comes at a cost. So let me know what you guys think about this, man. It's a really, 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 really sad situation, but it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
It's just viral because it's Joe Rogan and Liver King.
Yeah.
But you know how many people lose it? You know how many people completely melt down behind the scenes? You know how many Wall Street executives, people in banking, like get everything they ever dreamed of.
Yeah.
Only to completely lose their mind in the process, lose their soul in the process.
Yeah, I think the inheritance obtained too early is kind of trippy because I think it's easy to prescribe that to age, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, you know, you want to be a little bit older before you get a lot of followers or a lot of money, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I actually think if you look at the real life application of it, is that when someone is not Christian and then they pursue wealth or opportunity, whatever it is, they almost every single one gets to the point where they go, oh, none of this really matters. And now I have to go on like a spiritual journey. And so it's kind of interesting because it's like, if you don't start with, pursuing your talents and making the most of your time, talent, and treasure from the standpoint of Christ as your identity, you're going to get to the end of that wealth regardless and that fame or whatever it is, and have that breakdown, whether it's a complete mental breakdown or if it's like, I need to go and figure out what life is actually all about because I realize it's not about this. So it's almost like it's an inheritance obtained too early in your faith walk is not an inheritance in the end. It's like you can be 50 and then become a millionaire or a multi-100 millionaire and then be like, but I don't know Jesus, and then you still have that crash out at the end.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of interesting seeing it where it's like, it's better to just love Jesus and then make the most of your time, talents, and treasures. And then that's also that's a twofer, right? Because then God might put a lid on your life because you're not ready spiritually for it. So there's like steps. It's like, one, you need to press into your faith, but that doesn't mean just because now you accepted Jesus, now you can go out and be a multimillionaire. Right. You might have an extra barrier because then you committed your life to Jesus, and God might be like, nah, like this is not for you right now. This might not be for you ever.
100%.
So now you got to be faithful with that, and then maybe a venture like that is actually going to benefit you in the long term.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, shout out to the chat coming through clutch. Proverbs 13:11, wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. That's another one. I think the NIV says little by little. But whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so funny you say that. And it's just such a great integration into the book on godly ambition.
No, it really is.
Because I literally go pre-order this. We're giving you guys the first, I think it's like the first 3 chapters right now. There's a chapter in here about money. And I talk about like
unlocking the full potential of your time, talent, treasure.
Yeah, but there's a chapter in the opening, I think this is the first or second chapter, I talk about money and how sometimes like money can be something that if it owns you, you might need to just not have money for a while. Not like as in like not provide, but that not be the North Star, right? And so I think we yo-yo to 2 extremes. It's like ambition is God, or I'm gonna pump my life. Money is God, or I'm going to be a derelict and irresponsible, right? Like I don't know if it's the human condition, our sinfulness, the brain, whatever it is. We just like go to these crazy radical extremes. And the reality is like, sometimes you might need to go through seasons of not taking advantage of every opportunity. And other times you might need to put your head down and have that gazelle intensity and go for it, right? And that requires a thoughtfulness and a prayer life and a community. And that's all that's explored. And again, we're giving you guys the first couple chapters. So go to Amazon, pre-order this, $23, and it really helps us out. And I think it really helps you out to read these ideas because not a lot of people are talking about this, unfortunately. So, hey, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you liked it, then hit the like button. If you liked it a lot and have a thought to share, leave a comment. If you are listening to this on the podcast app, make sure to leave a review, and you could even leave a comment over there. And if you want to watch another video that is recommended just for you, hit this video over here. Let me know if they nailed it. Also, you could partner with us monthly, which helps us out a lot in our monthly community, get access to early drops and all that kind of good stuff over here. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.